Got a bit of a story for you, maybe a question, because I don't know if this is a generational thing or if this is like an individual thing. So I had a situation where I had a young guy and he reached out to me and he was doing a bunch of homemade tattoos on himself and he really was kind of screwing his skin up and doing it with a couple people he knows about, and he's asking me for an apprenticeship. And of course I'm like, this trade is saturated, we have far too many apprentices, we don't need anybody new. What are you bringing to the table? And he's like, I'm not that great an artist, and I didn't know what to tell him, because like he was a compelling story, and I felt bad because he was covering himself with these homemade tattoos and covering his friends and family with these homemade tattoos, and I just said, no man, like, you need to work on your art, right? So he's like, well, can you fix up some of my work? And I said, okay, yeah, I'll do my best, and I'll give you a really good deal, because I've known him since he was a little kid, and he's just right into it, and he's like, wants to do this. So I'm like, all right. So I talked to some of my coworkers, I talked to some friends, and I'm like, well, this kid, like, he reminds me of me when I was young. He didn't really have a lot of prospects in the future. He didn't come from the best upbringing, and like, what's a guy got to do to break into this? And when I was young, like a young white trash kid, I was tattooing myself, I was tattooing homies, and nobody was there to say, hey man, you should probably look at what you're doing and consider the repercussions of your actions. So I was talking, and I'm like, you know what, this is the deal. I gave this kid an appointment, and I said, you come on down, I'll give you a really good rate, and we'll chat a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself that, like, maybe I'll give him a break. I'm gonna sit here, and I'm gonna listen to him, and if he's not a dummy, and he shows up and he's polite, or he has the capacity to learn, I'll give him a break. I'll listen to him. I'll listen to his story. I'll consider what he has to bring to the table. I'll encourage him with art and see where he's at. And if things worked out well for the young guy, I'd considered, you come on down. You hang out and answer phones, take out garbages, do runs, and maybe I'll give you $20, $30 at the end of the day because he's unemployed, right? But in the meantime, I want you to draw. While you're here, they've got tons of reference, and you can hang out and maybe draw. But I have to get to know the kid first. I have to see if he's worth anything that he says he wants to bring to the table. So then, and then, who knows, from drawing, he might end up tracing some of the flash, and he might end up starting to get stencils ready, and he might end up, setting up a table or setting up a workstation. You never know how it was going to go, because I just need to know if this kid's a dud or if he is actually worth my time. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. We all make mistakes. We're all young and dumb at one point in our life. So he's reminding me of potentially where I would have been at 18 years old. And I said, I'll talk to him when he comes in. I'll get a gauge and I'll see if I'm going to give him a break or not. So I'm sitting here. I come down. I'm getting all my stuff ready to set up to tattoo him. And guess who doesn't bother showing up for his appointment? Here I am, and I'm very strictly no new apprentices, like this trade is saturated, willing to give a kid a break and to gauge where he's at, to feel it out, to see if maybe he's going to bring something to the table, or he's got the heart to commit to this. And I would try to inroad him properly through mentorship towards this trade that he says he wants to get into. I even say, I'm going to give you a deadly rate. I'll fix up your work. I'll probably fix up some of the other junk that you put on yourself. And he can't be bothered to show up. I guess you missed out, bro. It was a test and you failed without even knowing. You didn't even come in. So what's a guy like me supposed to think when I got an entire generation of people that are like, hey man, you owe me this. You should apprentice me. Give me something for free. And I even consider giving somebody a break, and they drop the fucking ball. Where are we at? Where are we at? You know what? And if I told them, oh, you missed the boat, buddy. Oh no, I'll be there right now. Well, that was a test to see if you could actually be responsible enough to show up. But you dropped that ball right off the bat, so I guess it's off the table. I don't know, man. I worry about the future. Who's leading these kids? You know what I mean? Like, fuck. So you tell me, am I in the wrong? Or should I just be Captain Generous forever and have people take advantage of it? All right. Anyways, keep me posted. I want to hear your opinion.